GH1 TV, your best experience.
A very good morning. Welcome to GH Today News. My name is Leranto Charlotte. It's also time now to have a look at our headlines this morning. Government takes steps to dissolve Ghana Football Association after public viewing of investigative expose by Anas Aremeyao Anas. Meanwhile, Speaker of Parliament has set up committee to investigate the undercover investigative expose on the Ghana Football Association boss Kwesi Nyantakyi as public calls for his prosecution and other officials indicted in the video. And Tema Technical School remains shut down following an infestation of bed bugs. These and many more stories coming up shortly. Stay tuned. Well, starting off with our story this morning, where President Akufo-Addo has dissolved the Ghana Football Association after an undercover investigative piece by Anas Aremeyao Anas, which exposed rampant bribery and corruption in the game, which is a passion for Ghanaians. The dissolution comes barely 24 hours after the public screening of the documentary of the Accra International Conference Center reduced the association to ridicule and severe trolling on social media. The president of the association was filmed collecting $65,000 from investors to influence the president and vice president to get road contracts. He is under investigation for defrauding by false pretense. In a statement just came in last night from the Information Minister, Mustafa Hamid, read that government is shocked and outraged at the contents of the recently aired video documentary. Government will see to it that necessary reforms are urgently undertaken to sanitize football administration in the country. In a related development, Speaker of Parliament Professor Michael Quay has directed formation of a special committee to investigate the content of the Anas video. The director followed a request by body members of Parliament, Samson Eti, who argued that the officials, including the GFA president, must resign.
We are in an era where we all agree we are fighting corruption, and Parliament should be the authority that is most interested in view of its being a representative body of the entire people of Ghana. And for that matter, since no person, body or institution can assume an immunity from parliamentary investigation, I'll ask that we form a special committee right now. We'll quickly look at the matter, both sides of the House, then we'll be able to know what recommendations we should make.
Why shouldn't this matter be investigated? MP for Adanse Asokwa, Katie Hammond, speaking in support of the motion, shredded the autonomy claim of the Football Association.
There is this argument going on in the country that GFA is a private institution, it's an association, it is what is what. But it is an institution, private or otherwise or whatever, that is sponsored to a very good extent by the taxpayers of this country. Mr. Speaker, obviously then this House has an interest in how GFA, Mr. Speaker, is run.
Former Sports Minister and Minority Chief Whip Muntaka Mubarak consequently moved a motion for formation of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. I perfectly agree with Mr. Speaker that a special committee should do this. Mr. Speaker, I'm proposing a 7-member committee. I'm proposing 7-member committee. 5 may look small, but 7 is reasonable to look at it. Maybe 3 from the minority and then 4 from the majority, and chaired by someone from the majority.
In spite of earlier persistent resistance from Majority Leader Osei Mensah-Bonsu, Speaker Professor Michael Quay directed for the formation of the committee, whose membership is to be determined later after leadership consultations.
The committee will be duly established and the membership will be determined by the leadership accordingly.
Speaking to GH1 News about the Anas video, former Youth and Sports Minister Rashid Pelpo also demanded action towards cleansing of the FA. According to the WAS Central MP, the expose has soiled the country's reputation greatly.
The whole video was showing who the Ghanaian was, and I was seeing the Ghanaian in that video because everywhere Anas went, it was the same story, and people were willing to capitulate even with small favors, and it tells a big story about who we are. I'm not going to call on anybody to step down, but the institutions should work.
Majority MP for Manso Edubia Yao Frimpong wants President Akufo-Addo to write to FIFA seeking for permission to dissolve the entire GFA.
It's good for this country that the president saw snapshots of what was going to come and then asked that the CID, Criminal Investigation Department, interrogate him. Now everything is obvious to everybody. Therefore, they should intensify the interrogation and prosecution. You see, we need to prosecute him. But before you be prosecuted, first of all, the FA must be dissolved. And anybody who is involved in this thing must step aside whilst investigations continue. They should even bar them from not entering their offices from today.
In other news, members of parliament are divided over the content of the Rights to Information Bill, that's the RTI, and the MPs argue that some clauses in the bill will render the bill ineffective if passed. Now, in presenting the report of the Joint Committee of Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs and Communications, Ben Abdallah, the bill, when passed, will help curb corruption.
The object of the bill is to provide for the operationalization of the constitutional right to information held by public and some private institutions, subject to exemptions that are necessary and consistent with the protection of public interest in a democratic society. This also seeks to foster a culture of transparency and accountability in public affairs and to provide for related masters.
Ranking member for the committee, Inusa Fuseni, in his contribution argued the exemptions will not render the bill useless, as many have suggested.
Civil society organizations were particularly concerned about the exemptions that we have included in this bill. Mr. Speaker, but I want to assure civil society organizations that Clause 17 of the bill appears to be answering to all the concerns that have been raised. Mr. Speaker, Clause 17 gets to the effect that despite all the exemptions, information will still be available if access to the information would prevent the contravention or a failure to comply with law.
MP for Asante Achim North, Andy Appiah Kubi, questioned why some private firms have been excluded in the bill.
Mr. Speaker, the bill is also intended to provide access to information held by some private institutions. Mr. Speaker, I am at a loss as to why the use of some rather than all private institutions. But I'm hopeful that at the right time we will address our minds to it so that the access will not be limited by the application of the word some.
For MP of Daboya Mankarigu and a member of the Joint Committee Mahama Shaibu, the bill in its current form would deny the public of vital information if passed. He justified the committee's decision to take the bill through the normal processes, adding civil society has been given the opportunity to make inputs as a result.
So this bill, Mr. Speaker, if passed into law, will now give the right of citizens to access information from not only public institutions, but also specific private institutions. And so a basic human right guaranteed by both national and international laws. The African Charter on Human and People's Rights, the National Constitution of Ghana under Article 21:15, and the Declaration of Human Rights. And so it is a bill that, Mr. Speaker, we have anticipated for a very long time, and we are glad that it will come to pass.
Members of Parliament for Adanse Asokwa, K.T. Hammond, and that of Efutu, Alexander Afenyo-Marken, cautioned against any hasty passage of the bill. K.T. Hammond faulted the CSOs for their incessant pressure, adding that might be the reason for the refusal of previous Parliament to pass the bill. Afenyo-Marken cautioned against sacrificing the privacy of individuals in the name of RTI. Deputy Agent Joseph Penka extolled the virtues of the bill.
Mr. Speaker, the purpose of the Right to Information Bill 2018 is to give substance to the foregoing constitutional provision by providing for A, access to official information held by public institutions, B, the qualifications and conditions under which the access should be obtained, and C, the establishment of the Right to Information Commission.
Workers of BOST have expressed displeasure and indifference about the dismissal of the Managing Director, Alfred Obeng. His dismissal followed the decision by President Nana Akufo-Addo to terminate the appointment of the experienced health professional who served as the head of the facility for just a year. Now, government has, however, appointed Judge Mensah Okle to take over from Mr. Obeng Boateng as he steps aside on Friday, June 8th, 2018.
A visit to the BOST office in Accra by the news team on Thursday morning revealed that staff of BOST had reported to their work post and work was normal. Though management of the facility declined to speak to the news team, sources told the news team that management of BOST have been in a series of meetings to make preparations for the new government appointee of the company, who is expected to resume office on Monday, June 11. The dismissed MD of BOST, Alfred Obeng Boateng, was heavily criticized last year for selling 5 million litres of contaminated fuel to two unlicensed companies, Movimpeena and Zoop Oil, which were allegedly set up few days before the sale, making Ghana lose about 7 million Ghana cedis in revenue. Policy think tank Imani Ghana called on the President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo to initiate fresh investigations into the matter. Energy Minister Boakye Ejaku cleared BOST and its Managing Director Alfred Obeng Boateng of any wrongdoing, citing a BNI and national security report. The minority had accused the BNI of covering up the alleged rot in BOST over the sale of the 5 million litres of contaminated fuel. Following the alleged sale of the contaminated fuel, many individuals as well as institutions, including the minority in Parliament and the Alliance of Accountable Governance, called for the dismissal of the BOST MD, Mr. Obeng Boateng.
4 Nigerians have been arrested by the Forestry Commission in the Eastern region for attempting to illegally mine gold in the Ottawa Forest Reserve. Speaking to Star News, the district manager of Forestry, Kwame Oteng-Awa, explained that the foreign illegal miners sneaked into the forest reserve to mine gold, but were arrested early Thursday morning upon a tip-off by the rapid response team of the Forestry Commission.
On August 30, 2017, the Koforidua Circuit Court B, presided over by Her Honour Mercy Adai-Korte, convicted the 29 foreign illegal miners, 25 of whom were Nigerians, to a total fine of 15,690 Ghana cedis in default. The illegal miners will serve a total of 139 years for illegally mining in the Ottawa Forest Reserve. The suspects, who were arrested on Thursday in the Ottawa Forest, have been brought to the Eastern Regional Police Headquarters for their caution statements to be taken and put before Koforidua Circuit Court B. The forestry officials say the technology used by the Nigerians to detect gold, if allowed to influx, will whip up enthusiasm for illegal mining in the country, which could affect the fight against the menace by government.
Traders at the Swame roundabout are on a warpath with the Ashanti regional minister, who has asked them to sell cocaine if they can't withstand the economic hardship in the country. According to the minister, traders in the Kumasi metropolis are using the hardship in the country as an excuse to break the laws and trade in unauthorized places. Now, the traders say the regional minister's comments are unfortunate.
Traders at the Swame roundabout are enraged with the recent outburst of the Ashanti Regional Minister, Simon Osei Mensah. The regional minister, in his recent comments at the pre-launch of the Keep Kumasi Clean and Green campaign, asked the traders to go selling cocaine if they feel justified to be selling in an unauthorized area. The minister was angered several attempts to get the traders to be moved away from the runabout had been resisted by the traders, with their leadership rallying them to vote out the NPP. Justifying his comments in an exclusive interview with GH1 News, Mr. Osei Mensah indicated that he was compelled to make those comments because of the growing spate of indiscipline among a section of residents of the Ashanti region.
You have traders selling in the runabout, which is dangerous. Maybe they are not considering the risk aspect. If any heavy-duty truck or even a small vehicle should fail break there, even the number of casualties is unimaginable, and we don't want to get to that extent. So we are going to enforce the law. We will make sure that we do it with human face. It will be strict and will be firm, as well as being fair to everybody. But we are going to be firm and very strict.
After countless decongestion exercises, traders have returned to the Swame runabout, which is the biggest and busiest runabout in the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi. These traders, who are bent on defying all orders to vacate this perilous area, contend the comments of the regional minister are unfortunate. They insist the area designated for them to trade is dirty and does not befit a healthy place for trading.
Baby odi yako wuraye no ehwo ye ntumi ntra ho bon toilet nie na se bola ni bi so sa na pro na tinsuo na koye tinimade yare na ebre yen se yen koto keken na so ma ye ombo direct ye kwan no enya kasa kura so ka kire ne ma oye fada ye ya soden kura ne ma ne ye eni nti na o ma ne nyina si o sa fada na wo kire wo ma kwan se fa kwan boni we so kofa ha ba be solve problem na ye papa no wan kasa ye.
The Tema Technical School has shut down its school's boarding facility due to the bed bug infestation. Students have been sent home as the boarding house of the school has been shut down for a week to fumigate the affected dormitories. It is reported that the boarders boycotted Tuesday morning's class sessions, accusing the school's management of turning a blind eye to the issue.
It was total silence when the news team arrived at the Tema Technical School on Thursday morning. There was no single student found on the school's campus, just the sight of a car from a pest control company. When the news team inquired from the school's administration, we were informed the students were on a midterm break and are expected to be back on Monday, 11 June 2018. Both the classrooms and dormitories of the school was totally deserted. An attempt to get the vice principal of the school in an interview proved futile. In earlier reports, students accused the school's management of turning a blind eye to the issue. There are also claims from these students that some of their colleagues have been sent to the hospital to treat bites from the bugs. Apart from bed bugs, the students say unsanitary conditions at the school, such as messy washrooms, are among the many issues affecting them.
The Ministry of Education has revealed that an assessment of basic education in Ghana indicated that less than 2% of pupils in Class 2 can read. The ministry has attributed this worrying trend in the education sector to poor reading habits among students. In a bid to tackle the situation, an investment company, 9BS International, is to construct 6 modern community libraries in some districts in the eastern region to improve the culture of reading to enhance the academic performance of students.
The library project to be fully funded by 9BS International as part of its corporate social responsibility for the Eastern region, having signed an investment agreement with the Regional Coordinating Council, municipal and district assemblies in the region, is expected to be completed within a year. Also to be constructed are 10 boreholes, libraries and 4 community clinics in 20 districts in the region. At Ottawa, to launch the project in Forestry, the executive chairman of 9BS Group of Companies, Mr. Wabadang Vairi, told GH1 News 9BS International through a business entity which believes in holistic development, which goes with wealth, health and improved living standards, hence the interventions.
We offer this as one of our corporate social responsibility. To do such a project as social corporate responsibility, we need to have in our board some of the decisions. We have a wonderful team in 9BS. They will still continue to do their job to identify where people need maybe clean water, hospital, or like a research library, or any other projects that people really need. Okay.
The Eastern Regional Minister, Eric Kwachi Darfo, expressed optimism that the partnership with 9BS International will lead to economic transformation in the region and reduce unemployment among the youth.
I have this singular honor to welcome everybody and to say to our partners who are coming to help us in the region that they are well received and they are welcome.
Let's now do a business story where the Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, has announced the government's preparedness to position Ghana as a petroleum hub for West African sub-region. He said the vision, which is one of government's strategic anchor initiatives, will also lead to the establishment of Ghana as petrochemical hub to supply refined petroleum products to meet the demands of the West African sub-region.
Consequently, ensure the development of sustainable value, wealth creation and the progress of the industry.
The government of Ghana has a vision to develop Ghana as a hub for refined petroleum products for the West African sub-region and the continent. The concept of a petroleum hub is one of government's strategic anchor initiatives that would serve as a new pillar of growth in the Ghanaian economy. The Petroleum Hub project will increase the presence of major international oil trading companies and storage companies, create regional trading champions, and encourage joint ventures between local and international companies for knowledge transfer and wealth creation. It will provide value addition in our petroleum industry.
The conference, which is on the theme, Realizing the Vision of a Petroleum Hub, brings together industry leaders across the world to explore and discuss varied ideas and strategies that would ensure the achievement of government's vision. The Energy Minister, Boakye Jaku, said the government is implementing policies that will transform Ghana's oil and gas sector.
With the right strategy and value proposition, coupled with the right environment
investors will choose Ghana and partner with us to develop infrastructure such as refineries, tank farms, pipelines, marine facilities for expanding our export capabilities, and other allied facilities required to make our hub a reality.
The conference participants will also undertake a comprehensive review after more than a decade of implementation of the deregulation policy to determine if the intended objectives of the policy have been achieved. The two-day conference is being attended by key stakeholders, including the Chief Executive Officer of the National Petroleum Authority, Al-Hassan Tampoli, as well as the heads of bulk distribution companies and oil marketing companies.
Let's now have a look at other news making headlines in other parts of the world. On international news this morning, the UN Security Council has imposed sanctions on 6 leaders of human trafficking networks operating in Libya. The first time traffickers have been put on an international sanctions list. The blacklisted 6 are 4 Libyans, including the head of a regional Coast Guard unit, and 2 Eritrean nationals. Smugglers have taken advantage of insecurity in Libya to move hundreds of thousands of migrants by sea to Europe. Many migrants are trapped in detention centers and beaten by traffickers. The sanctions, a global travel ban and an assets freeze were the result of an internationally backed Dutch proposal. The proposal was initially presented on 1st May but held up by Russia, which sought to examine the evidence against the 6 men. The unprecedented sanctions follow widespread outrage at the end of 2017 after a CNN aired footage showing the auctioning of migrant men and slaves in Libya. Well, let's hope that these sanctions will minimize some of our challenges when it comes to the issue of migration on our great continent of Africa. But for now, let's have a look at our weather forecast for the day. And this brings us to the end of our news bulletin this morning. Thank you so much for tuning in. You go ahead and have a splendid day ahead and an amazing weekend. Standing by is Kafui Day to give you more on GH Today.
Good morning, how are you? Good morning, how do you do? I love that song.